Okay, hey everybody, it's Charlie Morgan here and welcome back to another video for the YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how I open my cold messaging conversations. Cold messaging is a wonderful tool to book appointments. It's obviously free, it's quick, it's cheap, it's easy. However, most people really fuck it up. Most people hop into their conversations and they lose the person at hello, basically. What I'm going to do now is just give you just a little model, just a little idea that you can use to open your messaging conversations to get people to actually respond positively. So the premise of this idea revolves around permission. Okay, so what I'm not going to do in this video is give you what to say, because if I give you what to say, everybody will go and start doing it, and then it won't work, right? The only way to win in this space these days, in the agency space or the online coaching space in 2022 or any year following from this one, is to have frameworks, right? Because frameworks denote intelligence, because intelligence is an understanding of a topic or an idea or a principle that you can apply to your niche or your market or the platform. And if you have intelligence by having a collection of frameworks that work, then you'll be fine. Now, I've talked a lot about appointment booking on this channel before, and the main thing to know about appointment booking is the only thing you really have to understand is psychology and how people work. And one thing that makes people tick really, really well is permission, right? So what this means is the reason people aren't responding to your cold DMs is because they don't feel like they're in control of the conversation. And as human beings, when we're in an environment where we feel like we're being sold to or someone wants something from us, where they make their intentions really clear, it makes us feel like we don't have this sense of control over our situation that we so desire as humans. It's all we really want is control and attention. So what we have to do is, in our initial approach, is we have to figure out how to give this person a sense of control, which gives them this sort of comfort to reply to you and start a conversation. Now, I don't like conversations. I hate them because they don't scale, right? So there's two modes of thought at the moment, and they're both a bit stupid. Mode of thought number one is volume. Just send a copy and pasted message, and you've probably received 5 of them in the last week. Just a copy and pasted message that is never gonna receive a reply, because who the fuck's gonna reply to that? That's mode number one. That's school number one, school of thought number one. School of thought number two is have a conversation or build rapport with people. And this is also stupid, but it's not stupid, it works a little bit better. But the problem with it is you can't scale conversations. It's impossible to, if you've got an inbox and you're starting, 10 to 15 conversations per day with people on Facebook or LinkedIn, and then soon it becomes too much to manage and then you can't reply to people. The way we've constructed it for our businesses and for our clients, for those of you who don't know who I am, I actually help agencies get more clients through channels like this. The way we structure it is we have an opening message, which is underpinned by permission, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a second. Obviously, that's the theme of this video. We have an opening message, and then the person will give us their permission to pitch. This is the secret to getting through to people, because the issue that people have at the moment is they open their conversations with the pitch, right? The better way to do it is to remove the pitch immediately and go to the person and say, hey, John, listen, I know you've probably got 50 pitches in your cold DMs right now. How would you feel if I added another one, right? Can I get your permission to pitch you something that I think might help your business? I don't want to come in and, just attack you with a pitch. I really want to know if you're open to having a potential problem solved. Do you mind if I pitch you? Do you mind if I send over some information? Do you mind if I send over a demo video that explains how it works? The sort of do you mind statement stroke, is it okay with you if, that gives them this sense of control. And it's the most powerful thing that I've found to getting appointments right now. Because all you have to do, if you want to get good at appointment booking in the digital marketing space or the coaching space or whatever it might be, is look at what everybody's doing and then just do the fucking opposite. So right now, everybody's running in and they're doing two things. They're either sending a copy and pasted message, which is oh, is this worth the conversation? If I can give you a VA, fuck off. Get out my DMs, just get out of there. I've seen it 100 times before. That's number one, people don't respond to that. Number two is, oh, hey John, how's business? Or hey John, do you do Facebook ads or Google ads? Once again, fuck off. I know exactly what, if someone reaches out to me these days and they're like, oh, hey Charlie, I saw we were in this group together. How are you? I'm like, look, mate, you don't care how I am. I don't care how you are. what are you selling? Like that's literally what I will say to people. And then they're like, oh no, I wanted to build a relationship before. I'm like, mate, I haven't got time to build a relationship. I am on this platform to make money, not friends, right? So tell me what you are selling. And now that's my attitude, because I'm in the position where I really can't be bothered to deal with people who just want to chat. Like I just, fuck that. Like, tell me what you've got. If I like it, I'll book a call. If I don't, I won't. So that's how I handle those two situations. Is like, the other thing is that if someone does send me a copy and pasted message, I will just reply like one word, no capital letters, no. And then, because otherwise they follow up, and then it's annoying. So we've got these two schools of thought. In the middle is the permission-based approach. And I've got two ways of doing this, right? So number one is to start by asking the person if you can pitch them, right? Just say like, John, I might be able to help you get more clients. There's no way on this earth that I'm comfortable telling you I can help you without you telling me that you're open to hearing something about it. Is it all right with you if I send over some information that explains how we can help you get more clients? You can say no, I just want to get your permission before I pitch you something. You do that, and don't just copy and paste that, please, because you need to think critically about these things. If you just pause the video, go back and then type out what I've just like said and then send it, yeah, it'll work, but then everybody else will do that and then you'll be fucked. So don't do that. But that approach there is brilliant, because what happens is the person will look at it and they'll be like, okay, well, this person thinks they can help me, but they want me to give them permission to pitch. Nobody does that. Everybody just goes straight in for the pitch. So what we do is we warm them up, and they're basically like, yeah, sure, send something over. And then you have now Trojan horsed your way. Like that first message is like a little Trojan horse, right? Into their DMs, and they're now open to the information that you send them. The problem with most people's pitches on cold messaging is they're pitching people that haven't given permission, right? You must request permission. It would be like, you know, and like people use the dating analogy a lot when I don't really see much of an overlap between dating and sales. So it does make me cringe when experts say, oh, it's just like dating, you wouldn't like, but there's an element of it where there's a bit of truth, but bear with me. It is kind of like dating, and I know it sounds contradictory now, I sound like an idiot, but like, if you want, like, you wouldn't just buy a girl a drink, you'd be like, can I buy you a drink? Because to go over and just say, hey, I bought you this, she'd be like, what the actual fuck are you doing, mate? She'd be like, go away. But if you go, the reason you go up to a woman first, or if you're a woman, you go up to a man, whatever, 2022, I'm here for it, you know. The reason you go up to a woman and say, hey, can I buy you a drink, is because you're getting her permission. The drink is the Trojan horse to open a conversation, right? And the same thing applies when you're sending a cold message to someone saying, hey, I've got something that might be able to help you, but I'm very reluctant to like send you information without you telling me you want to receive it. Do you mind if I send something over? That's option number one. Works remarkably well. I've probably used that to make well over $250,000 in the last 12 months through cold messaging. Probably more than that, actually. If I think about what we can actually, no, probably way more than that, like 400, 500 grand, just through little permission-based messages. So that's the first thing. Now, option number two, which is just as good, is I've critically thought about this for a long time, because most people don't really know how to do cold messaging. Most people suck. So I've been trying to sort of, I don't mean that in an insultive way. I mean like the people you've learned from suck, basically. They're using strategies from ages ago. So I've been able to come up with that strategy number one, which is nothing new. It's just using permission-based selling. Like that already exists. I just applied it to cold messaging. But number two is another idea, and I've coined a term. So if you hear this in the future, it came from me, right? I don't really care too much about that. Questions of anticipated resonance, right? That's the second model that I've developed that we can use to book appointments. So the way questions of anticipated resonance work is that it's like the main framework we use is empathy, right? So we understand our niche has a problem. We understand the niche receives a lot of people pitching them about this problem. And so we use that knowledge to go to the niche and say, hey, John, listen, like by chance, do you struggle to get people through the door? I'm not asking you this so I can bombard you with a pitch. I'm asking because I want to get your permission to explain how it works. Now I've actually got, had some sort of written down, but I won't go through them because I don't want people to copy them. But another one, so questions of anticipated resonance. So another one, for example, would be like, hey John, like I'm sure you get bombarded with pitches on here, right? And then you would just leave it, and then he'd be like, yeah, it'd be like, do you mind if I had another one or something like that? But what you want to do is you want to anticipate the issue, the problem, or the painful situation the prospect has, and say, hey John, so here's an example, right? I'll just give you this example. I'd be like, hey John, tell me this, bit of a random question for you. Do you ever feel like you work on your business and not in it? Or sorry, other way around. Hey John, tell me this. Do you feel like you work in your business and not on it? Or is that just me? Right? Or something like that. And then like, he'll respond and be like, honestly, mate, I spend so much time in the damn thing. And it's like a perfect Trojan horse because, well, they don't even, it's just sort of being like, hey, like, you know, let's say you help, say help e-commerce stores with email marketing, for example. It's like, hey John, do you ever find MailChimp's an absolute pain in the ass? You know, and then you just leave it, and because most people that use MailChimp are shit, and you can usually tell if someone used MailChimp or not because you can join their newsletter and then see where the emails are coming from. But you can just be like, hey John, do you ever feel like MailChimp doesn't perform properly? Like I'm seeing it for a few clients, and you just start complaining, and then like what will happen is they'll just respond and be like, actually, yeah, MailChimp is a complete pain in the ass, if they have that problem. And then that gives you leverage to say, listen, the reason I asked is because I actually help e-commerce stores solve that problem. Now, I don't want to go ahead and start rambling on about what I do without your permission. Do you mind if I explain it? So we once again revert to the permission-based approach. But you know, one of the best metaphors I can use for this is to imagine that you are a, we talk about the doctor analogy a lot in sales, but imagine that you are a doctor specializing in the flu, right? And you're in America, so there's no NHS, it's private practice, you have to make your own money. The best way to get clients would be to go around people's houses and knock on the door and say, hey, you've got your list of symptoms as to what happens when you get the flu. It's like, hey John, do you have a cough, a sneeze, or a temperature? And just shut up. It's like, John, do you ever find that around this time of the year you keep getting like, you know, cold and headaches and stuff like that? I'm just asking. And then he'll be like, yeah, actually, I've got a cold and a flu and a temperature at the moment. Perfect. The reason I asked is because I can help you get through those problems and solve them. You got a second? Right? So like, it's like we go looking for problems before presenting the solution. Most people just present the solution immediately, and it just puts the person off because you've given no empathy. So instead, like if I was doing this with agency owners, for example, like if I was reaching out to agency owners, I would probably send a voice note or a video and be like, hey John, how's it going, mate? Listen, I'm wondering, looks like you've got an awesome service. Do you ever find that it's difficult to get people on the phone to sell it to? Because I know that's one of the painful problems is agencies have this good service, but they can't get people on the phone to sell it, and it creates this pain. I'm like, John, do you ever find that like you've got this like awesome thing, but you can't get people on the phone to sell it? Like, is that something you experience at all? Like, I'm asking because I'm curious. We've got some agencies and I'm just trying to build understanding. It's like, yeah, honestly, like we've spent all this time like building this thing, but like, yeah, we just can't seem to get people to sell it. John, I might have something for you. Do you mind if I explain a service that might help you solve that problem? Yeah, of course. Who's not going to say no, right? So who's going to say no? So that's my framework for appointment booking. Now, obviously, it goes a lot deeper than this, and like we've got a whole program dedicated to this exact sort of methodology. This is like you're scratching the surface of a very, very mile-long iceberg here. But this is how we get the foot in the door, and I hope it helps you because most people really struggle to book appointments in this space, and well, I don't want you to be one of them. And if you use these methods, you'll get more positive replies. And I'll leave you to this in closing. Your philosophy for cold messaging should not be to get appointments, it should be to get positive replies. So when you reach out to someone, all you're looking for is for them to say yes to something, right? Doesn't really matter what it is, but you don't want to ask them aimless questions like, hey John, are you in Tennessee? When you know he's in Tennessee, and then he says yes. It's like there's no back end leverage off of that. You need to go in for the permission, or you need to go in to see like, hey John, like, have you got a cold at the moment? Like, hey John, have you got COVID? If you're a doctor specializing in getting rid of COVID or something. And then he's like, yeah. And you're like, oh, well, listen, you've got these symptoms, which means you might have this problem. What do you think about that? Awesome, well, I could solve this problem. You just go down that route instead. So those are two methods. I've been using them a long time. They've They will continue to make me hundreds of thousands, probably millions of dollars by the end of this year. And you know, it's one of the main ways that I use to grow my businesses organically. So that's how it works, guys. If you want more content around these sort of like frameworky style, mindset style ideas for booking appointments, just comment and like and subscribe, because it gives me the feedback you want more of this. Also, if you are struggling to book appointments as an agency owner, or a coach or a consultant or something like that, if you're an agency owner and you're just thinking, do you know what, like I actually can't book appointments to save my life, then if you click the first link in the description, I will be able to throw you a life raft that will save your life. We basically have a program that walks you through how to build systems for acquisition. I know everybody on YouTube has a fucking program, but this one actually works. We've served 200 agencies. We have a money back guarantee, kind of like a pay on results sort of style thing. And like, if it doesn't work, you get your money back. It's pretty cool. But what's pretty cool is the results we achieve, and you only have to click that link and you'll see them all, and then you'll be like, shit, I need to book a call with these people. So that's everything from me. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.